Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now today we're going to be talking about a situation, a video reaction on another content creator. This is not a react channel, but I just want to put my opinion as a fighting game player, part of the FGC, that also plays a lot of gacha games like Arc Knights, Genshin Impact, and Punishing Grey Raven, Wuthering Waves, like a lot of gacha games and a lot of fighting games. I've been playing fighting games since I was a kid. Starting from Street Fighter 2, you know, the Children of the Atom, X-Men vs Street Fighter, King of Fighters 94, 95, so forth and so on, Rival Schools, Tekken, Guilty Gear, which is you know, like my favorite fighting game, and Capcom vs SNK, so forth and so on. All right, so I do play fighting games because I grew up in the 90s, and back then there weren't really like MOBAs, right? The way that I spend my time when I go outside is I go to the arcades and just stay there and hang out with the other people and play. I'm gonna react on this video, which I will post here on the screen. I watched this reaction of Tectone from GachaSmack, and I'm not gonna react to every, you know, the whole video itself because that's like 30 minutes. I want to keep the video a bit short, but GachaSmack did point some things that are very interesting. Like for example, he mentioned about the tag system or the flashy animations, which I agree. All right, I agree that the flashiness of the animations are one of the reasons why fighting game players like me are interested in the game, right? So that is correct. Also, he mentioned the tag system, which both of them mentioned Marvel vs. Capcom, which isn't true. X-Men vs. Street Fighter was the first Capcom game that was doing the tag system. I might be wrong. It might be Rival Schools or some other, you know, SNK game, maybe like Fatal Fury. But anyways, that's beside the point. Other things that GachaSmack mentioned was like the intricacy of the combat system. Well, the most intricate or complicated combat system that I've experienced in a gacha game is pretty much Wuthering Waves. I haven't really played Zenless Zone 0 yet, but I doubt that it will be as complex as any recent fighting game has been, you know, that has been released in the past few years. So I don't think, you know, it could match it. It could give that feeling of complexity, but I don't think it could be as, you know, very sweaty. Tectone and GachaSmack kind of forgot one point, which I did leave a comment on my main channel. You might see it on the comments there on the Tectone video reaction, is that the reason why fighting games player, at least for me, I play fighting games is because I train. I sit down in my room, spend hours doing the training mode on one side, player 1, doing all the combos on the other side, on player 2 side, doing combos on when jumping, doing combos from a grab, doing combos from a low hit, doing combos from a counter hit, from a super, like combos if you have a super meter like 1, maybe 2, some max. So, you know, training a lot and then going online. In my case, I go outside back then and I play on the arcades. And if I lose because that's a skill issue. Skill issue didn't really exist back then, you know, the word, but it's pretty much that. I lose because it was my fault. And that is like one major reason what I don't really enjoy FPS games, MOBA games like Dota and League of Legends, because you rely on your teammates. And sometimes even if you're really good, you can't really carry the team because someone is messing up. That might be me. And you know, if I want a competitive game, I go to play a fighting game. I spend hours, hundreds of hours, thousands sometimes, to get good. But like that is the main reason, I think. And I think GachaSmack and both Tectone, GachaSmack forgot about that. Now I have many friends that also, you know, are playing fighting games, and I always try to pitch the idea of like how, you know, like, tried out this gacha game. It has like really good graphics, really good combat, but they know that it is a pay-to-win gacha game. All right, if there's PvP, it's pay to win. You know, okay, so you might fight a boss. It's a PvE game. Let's say you don't really have you know, human opponents like Genshin, but it would still be a pay to win game because a C6 cannot really match a C0, right? I mean, the other way around. There is a huge power difference. And for example, in Wuthering Waves, like you can't really clear the stages right now because your characters are under leveled and people that wail are probably clearing the Spiral Abyss there. So that is like one major thing which I think is very important to consider. And honestly, I am siding with Tectone with this one, even though GachaSmack did put out a lot of very good points. I'm gonna side with Tectone that I believe that the crossover or the collab that they did with Capcom isn't really the best thing. Actually, it's really far. There are far more collabs that are more profitable, in my opinion. And I will just cut the video here so we could like show some data. Okay, so we are back. Now I am here at steamcharts.com and we're gonna be talking about, you know, like the amount of players that play these fighting games. Now, as a part of the FGC and play fighting games, the player base for fighting games is pretty small. It's a niche genre. It's nothing like League of Legends, Dota, Valorant, or NBA, or any sports games, right? F1. It's very, very small. And one of the most famous, biggest fighting games out there would be Street Fighter 6. And let's just go ahead and type it here. Street Fighter, and I will show you. This is just only Steam. I'm aware that this game exists on PSN and you know, like Xbox, and we see here there's like 22,000 players that are currently playing Street Fighter 6. Now that's pretty good, right? But compared to like other games, let's say Counter-Strike, I mean, maybe something more. I mean, just look at the, let's say Counter-Strike. Yeah, sure, why not Counter-Strike? Now this reminds me of like one collab that happened back then in Art Knights. It was we have like 1 million players here. I would zoom in. You know, a collab that happened a few years ago. This was a Rainbow Six Art Knights crossover, and I was like, wow, that is out of nowhere, right? Did Art Knights gain from that? Because Rainbow Six is very different from a tower defense game, especially a mobile game. I don't know what happened with that, but hey, you know, I enjoyed it because I play both games. But another game that is very popular in like maybe a sports game. My point is, let's go with Tekken. Tekken is pretty big, right? Tekken is a pretty famous fighting game. Let's see the player base. That's not a lot. We have like 7,200 players, current players. So that's very small. Now, I guess they made the right decision of making a collab with Street Fighter 6. But another popular fighting game would be Guilty Gear, like Guilty Gear, which I play. I pretty much play all, but I kind of like enjoy the gameplay of this one. 2,800 current players. You see the difference, right? This is very small. Like if you go to lobbies, you would see that a very small amount of players play the game. Let's see other famous fighting games. Mortal Kombat. Let's go with that. Mortal Kombat. Now another thing that I want to point out, in case that, you know, maybe Tectone watches this, Tectone is saying like, oh, Smash is a fighting game. Yes and no. I want to disagree with that, because I think Smash is its own genre, probably a Smash game, a brawler game, you know, maybe with the Nickelodeon thing and the PlayStation. There's like PlayStation All Stars or something, but I wouldn't really, my definition, my personal opinion, my definition of a fighting game is like 1v1, and you have like commands like down, forward, punch, kick, and when you press up, you jump, you press back, you block. Especially, I mean, Mortal Kombat doesn't use that, but you know, something like this. For example, Mortal Kombat has like 2,800 players. Not looking too good, right? We have like dead games, like for example, King of Fighters. Let's see King of Fighters, which is a very popular fighting game back then in the 90s. And look at that. God damn, that is like 276. You see? Like the biggest one is 22,000, and you know, I mean, 22,000 is not a lot, right? These are very loyal, and you see the Counter-Strike, 1 million players. Let's see Dota, right? Or Valorant. I mean, we can't really see Valorant here, but let me throw out here maybe Samurai Showdown. You know, guys know that. That's a pretty famous SNK fighting game, right? If you grew up in it, I think it's the wrong spelling, Showdown, right? Let me see. Maybe double digits. Look at that, 15 players. Oh, you like anime? Let's go with anime, like Melty Blood. You guys know that fighting game? It's a fighting game, Melty Blood. Lumia, probably 3 digits. We got 135. My point is that these are like the famous fighting games. Let me know down below if I missed anything. Probably missed a lot, right? But my point is that fighting games are a niche, and if I don't know how much money they spent to sponsor or like collab with Capcom. Let's see Monster Hunter, because Capcom, Monster Hunter. Let's go with Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter. Pretty sure it's actually Monster Hunter doesn't probably have a lot of players because it's an old game, right? We are talking about World, but it's still more than Street Fighter. We have here 37,000, and Monster Hunter Rise. This is a game on the Switch as well. Has like 9,000. So in my opinion, I think it's better to just feature. Monster. Maybe someone in MiHoYo is a huge fan of Street Fighter, but personally, me, I wouldn't do that. You know, we have like throw out something. Go in Steam charts and just search something like, I don't know, like Destiny's pretty popular, right? Destiny. Although it has like a pretty bad rep recently. We have like 100,000 players on Destiny. That's a bad game, by the way, according to a lot of people. A game that I play now, Diablo 4, which is not really on Steam, but it's on Steam. But you know, I play it on the Blizzard launcher. I'm not really part of the players here. We have like 13,000. Okay, that Street Fighter is higher than, but again, Diablo 4 is available on Blizzard launcher. All right, so that's my point. You know, also Smash isn't really a fighting game. I mean, for me, it's a brawl game. I'm not saying it's easy or anything. I'm not really good at Smash, but I wouldn't really put it in the 1v1 classic old school fighting game. In conclusion, both guys, GachaSmack and Tectone, have really good points. GachaSmack pointed out that the animations were flashy, the combat, yeah, to some extent, you know, it might transfer into like a mobile game. It will not be as in-depth as like any recent fighting games that were released. Tectone, however, was pointing out the business standpoint, pointing out that, you know, working in like the advertising agency and stuff. Like, for me, I agree with Tectone with this one. I don't think how much money they spent to collab with Street Fighter. They're not gonna get that many players, right? Because the FGC itself is a niche genre. It's almost like you know, I don't want to be like a doomsayer or anything, but it feels like it's a dying genre. Either, especially now that all people are just like looking at the internet combos and like all the frame data, it's like super sweaty. It's not a casual game. And Genshin Impact, I mean, Tectone pointed this out that, you know, the success of Genshin was it was catering or more in favor of casuals. So I don't know. I mean, but it is true that someone mentioned in the Tectone video that you know, MiHoYo has like many money, billions of money, and so that doesn't really affect them or anything. They risked maybe they get more players, but that subset of like gamers is really small. You see something like Counter-Strike, maybe Dota. I didn't search Dota, but probably millions too, right? Valorant, something that is more mainstream would be a better collab, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. I just want to keep this short video. If you guys like the video, if you like gacha like me, hey, consider subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one.